All right, we are Grok Talk. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, GraniteGrok.com, Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Ustream, YouTube.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you for your commitment to diversity. I don't own a gun, and you're letting me sit here anyway. I can't tell you what that means to me.
We got you covered. Your line, Steve.
Which was the safest podcast in New Hampshire.
Well, that was one, but we're armed with more than just opinions.
Unapologetic conservatism, and we're armed with more than just opinions. All right, so I played a Stein clip last hour. I'm going to play another one from the same speech he gave in, I believe it was Melbourne.
That if you push back as hard as the left pushes for its causes, your cause can be won. You can reframe the debate on your terms, and you can put them on the defensive. And they are the ones who are saying, no, you can't say that. They're the ones saying, no, that's not funny. They're the ones saying, you have to be banned, you have to be silenced. They're not yet going into the offices as they did with Charlie Hebdo and gunning down everybody. But they're on the same continuum of the people who are always arguing for why you have less freedom, why you have to shut up, why you have to be quiet, and why you have to crawl into silence while they get to impose their world on you.
I just remember the word I couldn't think of before. Censored.
There you go.
That's something I don't think that anybody could ever accuse Granite Rock and our writers of at any point in time.
Actually, Christ on a Bike on Facebook, I banned you because I think you are Kevin Beck.
Yeah, and I just banned Luggage Face, too.
You know what, guys? Your Facebook and your Twitter are your private property, and you don't have to let anybody come in.
Oh, I know. It's not censorship to do it, but
property.
You know, it's the footprint of Kevin Beck. All of a sudden, strange name, probably sexually driven at some point or another, but not always. And then there's just a sudden, just contradictory nonsense. Just bam, 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 bam. Yeah. If you're going to do that, you're going to get banned.
I use my feed to convey a pro-life message, and anybody who gets in the way of that, go start your own. Start your own blog.
And that's basically... Go ahead, Mike.
No, I mean, that's exactly the point. You're actually very... You allow a lot of very forthright opinions. You go out of your way to allow folks that don't agree with us to post as long as they make good arguments. Mm-hmm. And, the people that get banned are the ones that are gratuitously insulting with no redeeming intelligence.
And I have banned very few people. I think I've banned 2 commenters in the almost 2. We're coming up on 10 years, guys.
Wow.
2 commenters and 1 author who I banned from Granite Rock. But yes, Kevin Beck
for failing to censor his graphics.
Yes,
correct. Yes,
yes. But Kevin Beck is a special case. He's a refugee, a militant atheist from Dr. Bushnell's chimpanzee refuge. He's a militant atheist who comes over and really. I mean, you're right. There's no socially redeeming arguments that he makes because he just calls everybody liars, starts using foul language. I do have rule number 1, and rule number 2. Rule number 1: don't put me in a position to explain to Janie and Johnny's parents what this means. What's been written when they go to their parents and say, "What does this mean?" And rule number 2 is write whatever you want. Just don't violate rule number 1. And I hold the commenters to that as well. But, Kevin Beck has decided that it's his game to play. I can't believe how many times he tries to get on thinking that he's going to sneak by. Luggage Face, a brand new commenter last night. Brand new discuss commenter, because that's the commenting system we use. Same Luggage Face ID, 3 different IP addresses, all in the space of 4 minutes. Your writing style gives you away.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So if he's coming from different IP addresses that quickly, maybe he's trying to use Tor to disguise his origin. But as you say, it's like forensic writing analysis. You really can't hide who you are. There's one other possibility that occurred to me.
Go ahead.
Could Kevin Beck really be an alter ego for the short-fingered vulgarian, prone to calling people liars and outbursts of profanity?
Not sure, but...
No!
I just look at him and go, enough. But he's not.
And it's not offensive. It's just kind of annoying, and it's gotten tired. That's all.
Yeah, but he's a twisted, sick little
and
guy,
and your point is very valid. He is not making any good arguments. He's not adding to the conversation in any way whatsoever. He is not advancing the discussion. None of it.
And he carries, we do have a couple of commenters on
Although
the
we
left.
are talking about him, so
yeah,
maybe that's what
but
he wants.
we do have a couple of commenters who Herb is one, Bruce Curry is another. As long as we're talking about commenters, I mean, they're always trying to put up rational arguments, and for that, I will applaud them. Come on in, have fun. If we can't win in the arena
the same
of ideas,
old tired left-wing crap, but it's at least rational.
yeah. I mean, I'll read it. I may not comment on it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'll do battle with those guys. I'll do battle with those guys all day long.
Yeah.
But play nice.
And who's that music teacher guy too?
Oh, Hunter Dan. He was the other commenter that just went into the ditch, and I said enough.
Yeah, he got a little off the hook, and he had to go.
Yes, Dan Williams of Concord.
Yeah, I mean, if he came back as somebody else and toned down his tone, I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
But again, it's
But I want to go back to the Mark Stein piece that you wrote. We're seeing that that you played just a little bit ago.
A masculine of center genderqueer.
that one.
That one, plus the silencing, the censorship of the left. I mean, that's what our first segment was about. Well, second segment with Annika Smith was all about, the left shutting down the right. Mm-hmm. We don't shut down the left for the most part until you really go crazy. But we're seeing the institutionalization of politics. Look at up in Wisconsin, where all those John Doe suits were filed by a leftist attorney general who went after conservatives for just supporting the Governor Scott Walker. We see this with the Tea Party targeting of the IRS, where now government has been weaponized by the left. They see it. We have seen this throughout history, over and over again. They're not about free speech. They're about free expression of their ideology.
If there is criminal prosecution of David DeLayden, that will be an absolute outgrowth of that.
Well, we're seeing this grow up on college campuses. Now, I have to put my hand up. I listen to NPR every Saturday morning coming in because I like listening to It's Only a Game. And even though they're liberal in outlook, generally the main host does a pretty good job, and I can't wait to listen to him and Charlie Pierce near the end of the show because Charlie Pierce is hysterical. But the stand-in producer, who is a lady, in the first couple of segments, you could tell the stories were not necessarily about sports, but using sports stories to be social justice warriors. Mm-hmm. They're talking about diversity. They're talking about white men. They're talking about this, that, and the other thing. And Mark Stein is right. Those creatures of college that we saw with the political correctness are now crawling out into larger society. And now they expect us to act like they're still in college. Man, they're going to be disappointed if they meet me in person. Because I will take no quarter. I keep... sometimes have daydreams like, okay, what if I was a widower, won the Powerball, and I decided to go back to a college campus and start in on another degree? Wouldn't that be hysterical?
Oh, please go to Dartmouth and discuss the Kentucky Derby, please.
Oh, yes, the other. This is nuts. What Ellen's bringing up. Well, Ellen, you tell the story. This is just great as an example.
Well, I have not delved deep into it, but I've seen coverage of it. Apparently, there's a tradition of one sorority or fraternity having a Kentucky Derby party, right down to the big hats and the fancy dress things. This year, it's been canceled because there was a group on campus that said that the Kentucky Derby party perpetuated plantation thinking. And so instead of them staying home, the whole party was called off.
Yeah.
Now, that's not something I'd go to. I mean, guys, you want to look stupid in hats, knock yourself out. But the party was canceled because of a concern by another group that it perpetuated a plantation mentality.
Well, how about the story, now I can't remember the college that came out, where this black gal confronted this white guy for culturally appropriating dreadlocks to the point where, he explained the history of the dreadlocks, but she grabbed him. That's battery, and said, you can't do that. It's like, how much further down this political correctness line can we go? Again, we grew up, in the whole idea that the three of us, because Mike, I'm quite sure that you can pile in on this as well. But basically, this was supposed to be the mix, not the mixing bowl, but the
melting pot. Live and let live. Understand that there are differences. There used to be something about appreciating differences.
Right, and we celebrated everybody's culture in a lot of ways. But now we've been complaining about for years that now we're just tossed salad, where we have, because of multiculturalism, that we don't have that melting pot anymore. And now it's getting to the point where they're invigorating outright segregation. Yeah. Mike, any thoughts?
But now it's self-segregation. If we had put up white boarding schools and said we want to stay away from you, it would have been horrible racism. But they want to put up black schools and black institutions to protect their precious little dark snowflakes from the rest of us, and that's not supposed to be segregation and racism.
Hold on just a second, Mike. Steve just brought in some nice things. I'm going to hold it up. Hand grenades. This is what we do. And it says, I fight for freedom. And this is for the Concerned Veterans of America.org. But big event coming up. But I look at it this way. This is what we do. We throw hand grenades into the political correctness crowd and just wait for them to blow up. There you go. Figuratively speaking, of course.
Figuratively speaking.
Right.
Yeah, well, if you reach into my coffee mug cupboard at home, that is fabulous. I fight for freedom. See, yes, exactly. If you reach into my coffee mug cupboard back home, there are two large grenade-shaped mugs with a little pull tag on them. Complaint department.
Well, it gets to the point where I look at it this way: if not us, who else? And most people say, not us. So I'm happy to be their stand-in.
This is why I blog at Levin for the Loaf. If not me, who? I can be in Concord when other people can't. I can say who says what, who votes how. Anybody who wishes to read it can. Anybody who doesn't wish to read it doesn't have to.
Well, I should offer you an authorship, because if you're putting up a lot of the votes, I'd love to see that on Granite Rock.
Oh, I will email you stuff that will...
No, you want to put it up on Granite Rock yourself?
Sure.
Congratulations. Welcome to the group.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, I'm going to shift you this afternoon.
What, Mike?
That's going to be wonderful. I'm out here in California, or phone in, and I've got a reputation for being the guy that talks about politics, and the liberals will come over and try and poke me with stuff, and the conservatives will ask me my opinions on stuff. And I was telling my former boss, who's now a VP of something else, about why Medicaid expansion is such a bad deal and what it's all doing. And he kind of knew Obamacare was bad, but he never realized all the harm it was doing. And I just pointed out how much it's costing our own company. They're paying much more money to give us slightly inferior care to the previous year.
Yeah. Okay, I got to cut you off because we're going to call our next guest, Avi Melamed, and Skip's going to do that. I'm going to turn this off and turn that off and and we will be right back.
From the CNHT studios in Concord, New Hampshire, just a few blocks from the New Hampshire State House, this is Raw Talk.